Good morning and welcome to another vlog. So it is Monday. It's about 8:10, so I have about 20 minutes to wake up and get myself ready for work today. I was supposed to wake up at 6:30 so I could work out, but I accidentally stayed up until 2:30 watching the new Summer I Turned Pretty episodes. Why didn't I just watch them over the weekend? I don't know. Choices were made, that's for sure. So for right now, I need to choose an audiobook for my work day. Actually, I think I see what I want to do. But anyway, this week is the book of the month reading challenge, and the goal is to read as many book of the month books as I can. Really, I want to read at least 1, 2, if I could read 16, then I could get my aardvark books on this shelf, because right now this shelf is all book of the month books from this shelf down, and unread book of the month books. So I think I could do that. I mean, I'm definitely gonna read at least 5 because I'll listen to at least 5 audiobooks this week. So I need to pick a book and figure out what I'm in the mood for, which actually I think I already have the audiobook on the Penguin Random House app for this, so this might be the choice, but let me just check. But I'm kind of in the mood for a romance, so let me just think on it for a minute. Okay, so I'm downloading 2 audiobooks, and these are almost perfect because, oh no, there we go. This one, we have 1-star romance, and at 1 time speed it's 11 hours, so that's about a 5-hour audiobook. And then this one, This Spells Love, at 1 time speed is 9 hours and 39 minutes, so about 5 hours, a little bit less. So I can definitely get 1, maybe 1.5 done today. If I listen more after I log out, then I could probably finish them both. So let's figure out what these are about. So 1-star romance, this is a June 2024 book, which is not too bad. This is a struggling writer is forced to walk down the aisle at her best friend's wedding with the man who gave her book a very public 1-star rating in this fresh romantic comedy. Natalie and Rob couldn't have less in common. Natalie's a messy artist and Rob's a rigid academic. The only thing they share is their devotion to their respective best friends, who just got engaged. Still, unexpected chemistry has Natalie cautiously optimistic about being a bridesmaid of honor to Rob's best man. Until shortly before the ceremony, Natalie learns that Rob wrote a 1-star review of her new novel. This has them both reeling, Natalie from imposter syndrome and Rob over the reason he needed to write it. When the reception ends, these two opposites hope they'll never meet again. But as they slip from their 20s into their 30s, they're forced together whenever their fast-track best friends celebrate another milestone. Through housewarmings and christenings, life-changing triumphs and failures, Natalie and Rob grapple with their own choices and with how your harshest critics can become your perfectly imperfect match. After all, sometimes even the truest love stories need a bit of rewriting. That sounds pretty good. This is giving is it Book Lovers by Emily Henry kind of vibes? And then This Spells Love, I am in the mood for some sort of witchy rom-com, so maybe this is it. So it says, a young woman tries to heal her heartbreak by casting a spell to erase her ex from her past, but wakes up in an alternate reality in which she's lost more than she wished for in this witty, whimsical friends to lovers debut. When Gemma gets dumped by her long-term boyfriend, she reacts the way any reasonable 28-year-old would, by getting drunk with her sister, her kooky aunt, and her best friend Dax. After one too many margaritas, they decide to perform a love-cleansing spell that promises to erase Gemma's ex from her memory. They follow all the instructions, including a platonic kiss from Dax, to seal the deal. Waking up the next morning, Gemma realizes that the silly spell has worked far too well. Not only does it seem that she never dated her ex, but the rest of her life is completely unrecognizable. The worst part, Dax has no idea who she is. To reverse the spell and get back to her old life, Gemma must convince her once best friend, now total strangers, to kiss her. But as she carries out her plan, she finds herself falling for Dax hard. Soon, Gemma begins to wonder whether she even wants to go back to the way things once were. What if Dax was the one all along? Ooh. So that sounds interesting. So, I'm going to go ahead. These are downloading. I'm going to go ahead and get all my stuff moved into the office to my desk. And I'll check in once I've listened to one of these, I suppose. I think I'm going to start with One Star Romance. That one sounds really good. A quick reading update and like a little unboxing. So I finished One Star Romance. Plot twist, it was not a 1-star romance. I'm giving it like 4.5, probably 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I think there was a lot of like complexity with the romance and the relationships between all the different characters. We had Natalie and Rob were like the main characters, but then Natalie's best friend was the one getting married to this guy, and Rob, his best friend, was getting married to Natalie's best friend, and they were maid of honor and what's it called? The guy maid of honor? Best man. They were maid of honor and best man together, and they kind of hated each other because he rated her book a 1 star, and so obviously she was mad about that. And this goes through several like years of, let's see, when does it start? It starts in 2013 and it goes all the way through 2021, and it goes, or 2023 rather, and it goes through all their different relationships and how they keep coming back to each other. So like if you are also in the Summer I Turned Pretty like whole black hole abyss, this might be right up your alley. Check it out. And I also, yeah, if you're in the Summer I Turned Pretty abyss but you want Belly to make better decisions and you're like, well, she's a teenager so that's why she's kind of sucks sometimes, Natalie is an adult and she eventually makes better decisions. And I also really loved this section on page 289. She talks about she looked down at herself, at a body that finally felt rooted. She no longer woke each morning to a ticking clock in her ears. All that time she'd spent in the muck, making lists of her goals and failing to meet them, trying things and falling flat on her face as the years slipped by. How could she have known then that the time she thought she was wasting was actually time she'd spent growing? I think some flailing is good for everyone. I mean, flailing sucks, but it might be necessary. Maybe you should try doing some things you're not supposed to do. So I thought that was really interesting. And I did just start the audiobook for This Spells Love. So far we're getting like a best friends to romance, friends to lovers. All I've got so far is that they're talking about sex and sex jokes. It's kind of funny. But Taylor Nation is doing a listen along for Red, Taylor's OG album, so probably not gonna listen to any more audiobook for the next like hour or last hour of work. But I got a package and I was just gonna open it, and then I was like, no, I should open it for the people to see. So I got on TikTok last week by this company. It's called Chloe's Giant Cookies. I don't know if you've seen them on TikTok, but her and her sister have like a TikTok account, and they talk about like their lives and stuff. And the older sister Chloe has this business. It's called Chloe's Giant Cookies, and she restocked the Big Deborah. This is the one I wanted. It's like a little Debbie cake inspired cookie, and she had like Christmas flavors. So that one is the Big Deborah. This one is Ginger Doodle. This one is a little melty, but that's okay. It's PB Lindor. And this one is a Funfetti cookie. So I kind of want to take a bite of one. Yeah, because I'm really curious. These cookies, they're 6 servings per cookie. That's crazy. I think that's gonna be my treat for like after getting off of work. Although like just a bite. Just a bite. Let's try the Big Deborah real quick. I didn't really take a lunch today, so I deserve it. Oh, you can warm the cookie. Wait, how the heck? Hold on. I ripped. Okay. This is what she does. Oh, I can't take it all out. Oh my god. I'm going to just break off a piece. I should have taken my Invisaligns out for this because these are so gooey. Oh my god. That is so good. Good morning and happy Tuesday. This week is moving right along. I've decided to do like afternoon workouts this week because waking up early is just not happening. So here's what we've got for today. Reading wise, I definitely need to finish Legendborn, and I want to pick up the next 2 books. It's just so good. And I read chapter 26 last night, and that's the chapter where she's with the school counselor lady, and we found out in part 2 that the school counselor lady also, oh man, my battery's dying, also has magic. And so in this chapter she meets up with this lady, but it's like Bruja, like black magic, which is interesting, which is different and oppositional to the Merlin magic, I think. So in chapter 26 we go on this like historical journey through the therapist lady's family like backstory or whatever, and it was really interesting. And it was supposed to be just them like seeing the family like a not Nightmare Before Christmas, what's it called? Christmas Carol kind of situation where you can see them but they can't see you. However, they could see Brie, which is interesting. It makes me think her magic is so different than any of the other magic that we're seeing in this book, and I can't wait to see her potential unlocked. So my goal is to get this mailed out on Wednesday when I go to the dentist, so I need to get that read. And then audiobook wise, I started This Spells Love yesterday, and so this is what I'm going to be finishing for my book of the month reading challenge. And then content creation wise, today should be 1989 day for Taylor Nation, so I'm gonna make a flat lay of like books that came out in 1990 when I was born, so I thought that's a good idea because I really don't need to post beachy books anymore. Like, we get it, I'm obsessed with The Summer I Turned Pretty, like let's post other things as well. But then I also want to make a post with this book. I'm thinking of doing a sit-down video related to the themes of this book, and like page 291 it talks about like, is that where it is? No, page 289, basically that whole chapter, but it's about like finding yourself and whatnot. So I want to kind of lightly script a sit-down video related to that, and I also want to do some sort of Instagram post with that. But I don't know that I want to have 2 flat lays in a row. I don't know. And I want to do an edit with like the quote, so I have to think about how I want to do that. And that will be like a post for like the Penguin Ambassador program, so I want it to be good. So yeah, I'm gonna charge this battery because it's flashing, and also it's almost time for my once a week work meeting, so I gotta look like a human. Hi, so I'm currently on my 45-minute lunch break, and while I'm on break I'm going to pick out my next audiobook because I have little less than an hour left of This Spells Love left to listen to, and then that will be done. I am loving this book so far. It is, if this book and this book had a baby and like were a little bit different, it would be this book, because we have like the Groundhog Day time travel aspect. So our main character, female character Gemma, she gets dumped by her long-term boyfriend and gets like blackout drunk, and then she wakes up and she's with someone that she doesn't really know, and she is still herself, but she's in an alternate timeline of her life. And her best friend is Dax, and he's this guy, and they're best friends. They've never hooked up romantically, but I think they both obviously have been yearning to hook up romantically. And so in this alternate timeline, they may or may not end up hooking up. Obviously, they hook up romantically. And it's a friends to lovers thing, and it's kind of like her getting her life together the way that it should be, I guess. Also, they talk about donuts so much in this book, so if you are a donut girly, maybe have one on standby at some point while reading this book. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I need an audiobook. I'll only have like, what, 2 hours left of work when I go back. So this is something that will probably roll into tomorrow. But let me see what I've got as options. I'm really feeling the romance thing. Romance audiobooks work really well for me at work, so let me see what's available. Okay, so audiobook is chosen. I have Anna Maria and the Fox. It's a Luna Sisters novel by Liliana de la Rosa. This was from April of 2023, and it still has the bookmark in it. Responsibilities are overrated. Tell me a better bookmark for a workbook, honestly. Let's see. Maybe this is the first book in the series. because it's not listing any other books in the front. This like page design is really pretty. White balance, stop. You can kind of see it. That's cute. Okay, so this one is a 10-hour audiobook, 10-hour and 45-minute audiobook on 1 time speed, so 2 times speed. It'll be like 6 hours, which is almost perfect. So this one says, a forbidden love between a Mexican heiress and a shrewd British politician makes for a tantalizing Victorian season. Ana Maria Luna Valdez has strived to be the perfect daughter, the perfect niece, and the perfect representative of the powerful Luna family. So when she is secretly sent to London with her sisters to seek refuge from the French occupation of Mexico, Ana Maria experiences her first taste of freedom, far from the judgmental eyes of her domineering father. If only she could ignore the piercing look she receives from across the ballroom floors from the austere Mr. Fox. Gideon Fox elevated himself from the London gutters by chasing his burning desire for more. More opportunities, more choices for everyone. Now, as a member of Parliament, Gideon is on the cusp of procuring the votes he needs to put forth a measure to abolish the Atlantic slave trade once and for all, a cause that is close to his heart as the grandson of a formerly enslaved woman. The charmingly vexed Ana Maria is a distraction he must ignore. But when Ana Maria finds herself in the crosshairs of a nefarious nobleman with his own political agenda, Gideon knows he must offer his hand as a protection. Will this Mexican heiress win his heart as well? So that is exciting. Also, this is gorgeous. And there are 3 other books in the series. So there's Gabriella and His Grace and Isabel and the Rogue. So if I end up liking this one, I can go ahead and continue one in the series. So for the rest of my lunch break, I need to take my flat lay picture for 1989. Taylor Nation is doing a listen party on whatever the heck that streaming thing is called at 5 o'clock. So I want to put together a 1989 flat lay. And then if I have time left, I'm going to try and physically read some Legendborn, since I only read 1 chapter last night in my sleep. And I realized, I was looking at like the list of our like traveling book club books. My next book is from Blood and Ash. So I keep getting hit with the chunkers like back to back. And I'm like, so I don't want to get behind on this one, which I actually own a copy of From Blood and Ash. So I'm wondering, I know this is maybe not in the spirit of the thing and I'm not going to do it, but what if I just read my copy and annotated it and then like moved the annotations over? I'm not going to do it, but it's a thought. It is a thought. I'm going to reread the book, of course, but just so I have enough time to finish it. Because she's chunky, but that's okay. So anyway, let me get this flat lay done. I have a lot of 1989 albums to dig out. So my idea for the 1989 flat lay, I need to see what all I have, but I think this is kind of new. And I have 2 sets of the Polaroids. I actually have 4 of the Taylor's version CDs, but they're on the wall, so that's not included in this. And then I have the Taylor's version. This is the Sunrise Yellow version. This is the Tangerine. vinyl. I don't know if you can tell. And then this is the OG vinyl. She's just black. And then for my books, I want to include books that were published in the year I was born. So I was born in 1990. Taylor and I are 1 month apart. So I have Jurassic Park. I have this romance book called Deck the Halls. The bind-up did not come out, and so the bind-up itself came out in 2000, but the story Deck the Halls came out in 1990. And the other book in here is called The Third Christmas. It came out in 1994, but the Deck the Halls story came out in 1990. And then I have this one. Oh, this actually came out in 1989. Close enough. So this Danielle Steele book was on a list of 1990 releases, but apparently it was November 1989, but we're counting it. And this book was gifted to this person. Can you see it? There we go. And Christmas 1989. Like, how flippin' perfect. That's hilarious. Okay, official timestamp. It is 8:02. You can't see that because wait. Balance. Let's go. And Pato is just so excited there. What if I do this? Timestamp 8:02. And I am on page 242 of Legendborn. So let's see how much I can get read before I go to bed. And not gonna lie, I'm contemplating waking up early tomorrow so I can watch Summer I Turn Pretty before work, because I apparently want to be emotionally devastated before I start my work day. And like, it's gonna be a long day because I go to the dentist in the middle of the day, or it's gonna be a short day because I get an extra long lunch to go to the dentist in the middle of my day. So both make me think I need to make this bad decision. Anyway, enough talking. Stop talking. We need to read this book.
And this episode is brought to you by Coach. Previously on the Summer I Turned Pretty. You were supposed.
So, This is my formal apology to this book. It is like almost 7 o'clock. I got off work and then I ended up going to the craft store with my mom for some stuff for her for work. So this is much belated and I missed the Rep TV streaming party. Sad. But anyway, let's talk about this book. So I listened to the audiobook between yesterday and today, and I like the historical aspects of this, in that we were learning about like Mexican people and Spanish people during, what's the time period? The 1800s, 1890s. I think it was a new perspective that we got in historical romances, which was really interesting. I thought that the romance was steamy, the spicy scenes were very good, but I'm not going to unhaul this book. I think I'm going to save it for later. Like maybe I'm gonna start like a cart or a shelf or like a stack somewhere of books that were like the right book, wrong time, if that makes sense. Like I think I'm currently reading Legendborn. I just read 2 banger audiobooks that I really enjoyed. I'm like in the throes of watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. So these are all things that I'm 100% loving, and I just liked this. Like this is a book that I love. This is a book that I read, you know? And I don't think that's fair to this book. So definitely, if it's something that's on your radar, definitely check it out. I don't think I'm going to continue the series because I didn't love it enough. And I don't know if it's because, like I said, right book, wrong time, I wasn't in the mood, or if I just am not vibing with historical romance. I'm not really sure. So for the rest of the night, like I said, it's about 7. I have 4 projects for my computer class that I need to do that are due tonight. So I need to do that. And I need to read this last section in Legendborn and get the shipping label ready to go. And then we'll have to pick my audiobook for tomorrow, which I will update you on that. I don't really know what I'm in the mood for after that, and what I have available. See, I sort of want to read these 2, however they're historical romances, and that obviously didn't work. So this is Bringing Down the Duke and A Rogue of One's Own. So I think I'm not going to do that, simply because that historical romance didn't work. So I don't really want to do that. And this one I think is historical as well, the Ornithologist Field Guide. Or it's maybe historical fantasy. So I also don't want to do this. And I'm looking for stuff that I would definitely have an audiobook for. This is a potential. I'm downloading it. I have The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This is 11 hours and 47 minutes, so like 12 hours on regular speed, 6 hours regular speed, or double speed, which is good. This is from August of 2020, and the little blurb up top says, an outsider who can travel between worlds discovers a secret that threatens her new home and her fragile place in it. In a stunning sci-fi debut that's both a cross-dimensional adventure and a powerful examination of identity, privilege, and belonging. And the back says, my mother used to say I was born reaching, which is true. She also used to say it would get me killed, which it hasn't. Not yet, anyway. I think I'm going to go with this for my audiobook for tomorrow. It's currently downloading, so I'm going to get comfy clothes on, and I'm going to get this homework out of the way. And I need to post my Rep TV picture for today. And then I have some... Good morning and happy Friday! So, reading updates. I finished the Space Between Worlds yesterday. I don't think I filmed like any kind of updates yesterday, which is so bad, but that's alright. So, I listened to this audiobook yesterday during work, and I gave it like a 3 stars. I did really enjoy it. It's a sci-fi where there are multiverses and you can travel around like the universe as long as there isn't a pre-existing version of yourself in whatever like multiverse you want to go to. And so we're following Kara, and she is an outlier and she does multiverse travel, and it's basically, she was kind of not well to do, and now she has all this like, I guess, some status from doing the traveling, the multiverse traveling. Anyway, this was like a 3 stars, and it's about her adventures as a juxtaposition to like the Empress. If you like things like, obviously Star Wars, but if you like things like Firefly, and it kind of gave me Magicians vibes in that they were kind of like trying to do things to like change the world. I don't know. It gave me very Firefly vibes. So if you liked that, you might like this book. And then I still have some pages of Legendborn to finish reading. So I woke up a little bit early today. So I'm going to try and read some of this before work. See if I can get that finished so I can get it moved on to the next person. And then for today's audiobook, I don't think I'm going to take a book of the month book. I think maybe. Well, I started this audiobook last week and I never got back to it because I was trying to read book of the month books, but I'm in the middle of it, so I would like to kind of move it along. So I have The Summer That Changed Everything by Brenda Novak, and this is about this girl Lucy, and her father possibly killed many people in her small town, so she moved away, and now she is coming back to her hometown for some sort of reason, and her old flame is Ford Wagner, and he is also coming back to this Virginia town, and he is married, but the marriage isn't doing very well, and I guess they reconnect over the past, and you know, her father having this horrible past and everything. So I'm going to get this listened to today, and then if I finish that, maybe I'll come pick something else out that's a little bit short, because I think I'm gonna run this vlog until Sunday. Technically the reading challenge ends on Saturday, but it just makes sense for me to run it until Sunday so I can have the whole weekend to maybe see how many more book of the month books I can read. I mean, I've read 4, and if I read one like tomorrow and one Sunday, that's 7. That's pretty good. I mean, it's made a little bit of a dent. There's a little bit of space, and there are a couple on this pile that I'm kind of taking off for now. So my job had their free book ordering program time or whatever lately, so I ordered, actually I've read Heartless Hunter, but anyway, so I ordered the sequel to The Road of Bones because that was an option. So this is kind of on hold until I get that sequel, and then maybe that's the only one that's on here. I know Crimson Crown was an option, but I don't think it has a sequel yet, so that's still here. Maybe that's the only one that I'm taking off for now. But yeah, if I finish my beachy audiobook, I'll come to the shelf and pick something else. Something short. theoretically. So yeah, I'm gonna drink my coffee and get cracking on Legendborn. And I'm really excited to read the next 2 books in this series. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't read this, please read it. Technically, I think I had this from Book of the Month at some point, and then I unhauled it. Or it definitely was a Book of the Month option, so it still fits with the vlog, right?